Hey, what's up, my little tattletales? Oh, what's up, Sussex squad? Come close, come close, come close. Let's have a bedtime story about the Mad King. You guys, the Mad King Charles is at it again. Listen, he was not joking when he said he was making choices. I'm sure while the queen was reigning, he was just sitting there counting the days till mummy was gone, because Charles is going through a laundry list of things. One of the top things is for him to erase the Sussex out of history. By what? Overexerting the power of the royals to control the media. Do you know that they are demanding that BBC not be allowed to use any of the footage from the Queen's funeral unless it's approved by him? And on top of that, they can only use a montage of an hour that they have to approve all the shots. And on top of that, how do we know this? Because there is a WhatsApp. Why are they on WhatsApp, first of all? There is a WhatsApp group text. I just want anybody to know WhatsApp is no longer that secure. If you really want it secure, you need to get on Signal. How is the monarchy and all their secrets have a WhatsApp group chat with the heads of ITV, BBC, and all these things? Now, you guys, listen, Charles is an idiot, right? An idiot, but he's a power-hungry idiot. And the fact that they think they can come in and do this and self-censorship and it's going to work, do they not understand the way the universe works? Now, there are some people, really quick, hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget my Real Housewives of Atlanta review was up, my review with Claire Summers, and also let's not forget the Real Housewives of Atlanta at Candy Burris interview. Okay, let's get into this, right? Because I just want to say this is so stupid and illogical. I heard people saying, you don't understand, they're playing the long game. True, when all of us are dead and gone and the Twitter clips are there and there's no more Instagram, the only thing that will remain is the historical record that the BBC. Stop it. This is not 1960. That will never happen. This is a dumb idea through and through. Are you guys? Of course he's mad. But let's actually think about this. Do you think for historical events, that there will not be a record trove that Google, that Instagram, that private individual has? Do you understand the game that is being played? Not only that, the U.S., first of all, the Queen's funeral was a historically significant event for the UK. It was paid for by the UK. The BBC, ITV, all those places, well, at least the BBC, paid for by the taxpayers. The royal family paid for by taxpayers. Who are they to demand this? And all because you want to make sure that Harry and Meghan are cut out of any clips, because even though you need to get back to the business at hand, I don't know what they do anymore. Open Waitrose, kiss babies, not love each other and have affairs, right? Wouldn't it be funny if Charles was having an affair with Camilla? No, Charles wouldn't. Wouldn't it be funny if Camilla had a little sneaky link on the side? I think she has it in her, but that's my opinion, right? But I will say this, you need to get back to the business of running the country, doing all these things, but instead you are literally going about, sorry, my bangs, you are literally going about your plan to try to erase Harry out of history, because oddly enough, and it sounds sick to say it, I think the same vengeful obsession that he had with Diana, because Diana escaped him and she would not bow down to him, I think he's actually transferred that to Harry. That is his mother's child, and it infuriates Charles, and he will try to break him just like he tried to break his mom. But that's my opinion. But get this. Here's a report. UK broadcasters battle monarchy over control of the Queen's memorial footage. Palace has said TV channels can only retain an hour of footage from events during the mourning period. British television channels are in battle with the monarchy. Now, keep in mind that the monarchy is trying to say that we don't control everything. People just report what they report. But you are literally on a group chat on WhatsApp with BBC, ITV, and Sky News to what telling them what control they're going to control what footage. And get this, For the king's coronation ceremony, they're saying that you cannot even do an hour. You only get 12 minutes. You better put a video confirmation, and we will tell you what 12 minutes to use. Let's get into this, because clearly for this one, they want to cut Harry and Meghan. It wasn't enough for them to laugh about Meghan being cut off by a candle pillar. They want to make sure that there's no mention of Harry or Meghan. Okay, let's get into this. Ready? The British television channels are in a battle with the monarchy over who controls the historic record of Queen Elizabeth II's commemorations after Buckingham Palace insisted broadcasters could only retain an hour of footage for future use. Who controls it? Had you guys not forgotten that you are at the will of the taxpayers? You are funded by the taxpayers. The BBC is funded by the taxpayers. This here is bothering me. You cannot be serious. Hold on, guys. Bangs are an eternal struggle. Okay, let's get into this, right? The BBC, ITV, and Sky News have been given until Monday, that's tomorrow or today if you're watching this, to produce a 60-minute compilation of clips that they would like to keep from ceremonial events held across the 10 days of mourning for the Queen. The royal household will then consider whether to veto any proposed inclusions. A lot of people are speculating that they want that veto because they want to not only find a way to exclude Harry and Meghan, but to cut out the embarrassing things that happened during the funeral, such as Mike Tyndall, the husband of the Queen's granddaughter, Zara Phillips, checking his watch while observing the Queen lying in state, right? They also have concerns about other stuff coming up, but let's get into this because I know you guys want to keep this like low, right? Now BBC has said once the process is complete, the news people have said once the process is complete, the vast majority of other footage from ceremonial events will be taken out of circulation, and any news outlets wishing to use unapproved pieces of footage would have to apply to the royal family on a case-by-case basis, even for materials that have already been broadcast to tens of millions of people. How do they think they're going to get away with this? Honestly, and if I was the news people, I'd be like, you're done then. You're done. Harry and Meghan bring all the money. We can harass them just fine without you guys leaking anything. You guys just make up stuff anyway. We can make up more on palace sources. What, are you going to sue us for going in on Meghan and Harry? Second of all, let's actually think about this, right? This is actually scary that you guys are trying to destroy historic record and say that history belongs to you, a taxpayer-funded institution. Now, one journalist said, it's completely illogical and doesn't make sense. We're furious that they're trying to restrict how people can relive somber but important historic events. These negotiations shed further light on how the royal family has shaped news coverage of the Queen's death. The former editor of ITN, Stuart Purvis, has said the policy is tantamount to self-censorship. Buckingham Palace has not responded to comments, so that's another thing. The fact that you guys were always wolves in sheep's clothing, and you'll cast off the clothing to say, look upon me, it is I, Charles, and William, and Kate, and we are the most powerful people in the land, while Camilla moves the puppet things in the back. They are idiots. Why would you even admit you have this much control? Now, The Guardian has previously revealed that the palace vetoed several cuts from the Queen's memorial services. These are rumored to include Harry and Meghan, and banned them from being reused in news reports and social media clips. Again, Harry and Meghan. Royal staff had a WhatsApp group including senior executives from BBC, ITV, and Sky News, which they used to control which footage was used. This was real time. A member of the royal household would send a message every 5 minutes, either approving or refusing the use of the previous 5-minute block of video. This is how much they controlled it. There was reluctant acceptance of this approach among the broadcasters, particularly when the palace suggested footage was intruding on the personal grief of royals. But now the battle has shifted towards who controls the historical narrative of the Queen's death. One journalist said, "We all get that moments of individual distress that we might not want to be revisited. That's a different decision to having a wide shot removed." According to the sources of the broadcasters, the palace has said that they can retain the rights to show up to 12 minutes of footage from an hour-long Westminster Abbey funeral service, 12 minutes from the Windsor Castle committal service, and only a few minutes from each of the various vigils that took place as the Queen's coffin lay in Westminster Hall. How crazy is this? One particular opponent contingent is the palace's assertion that it is veto over the use of footage of King Charles III's Ascension Council. This was a lengthy event where the new monarch was formally proclaimed in a televised ceremony. Broadcasters have been told they're allowed to retain a maximum of 12 minutes of footage from this constitutionally important occasion. Longer clips would need to be cleared with the royal household. Do they think they own history? The fact that do you see what I'm saying about when you make deals with the devil? Think about it. Everybody wanted to go in on Harry and Meghan. Everybody wanted to destroy them. Okay, fine. But do you see how now the power hungry want more power? Do you see how now they're stepping on your toes, telling you how to do your jobs and telling you what to do? Now listen, if they agree to it, it'd be the dumbest thing ever. Because for the royal family, who are taxpayers, who are servants to the state, to come in and say what historical things can be used or not, it's crazy. You know what? I hope they revisit this. And do they not understand that the crown exists, that we lived through this, that there will be context and record? Do you remember HBO's The Princess, where they were like, you can't use any of our footage? And they said, we don't need to, baby. We'll just revisit the historic footage from everywhere else. And they built the most compelling story that Charles and Camilla aren't ish. Yeah, I do too, right? Now get this. The concern is that the royal veto will be used to scrub mildly embarrassing moments, such as King Charles infuriated by the presence of a pen on the table at the Ascension Council. And of course, Mike Tyndall, right? Checking his watch because, the Queen was cutting into his drinking time, right? Purvis also told LBC he had concerns that the royal family had asserted the ability to retrospectively take footage out of circulation. Once it's been transmitted, once we record it in our own homes and our own video recorders, and suddenly we're being told that certain sequences didn't happen, we can't show them again. It's just unrealistic. There's no other way of interpreting that than effectively not censorship, but basically self-censorship. It was wonderful coverage, and I think the palace will reflect that they've made a mistake. Listen, the palace knows what they're doing, and it's being driven by a madman. And let's just see if racist hatred will let everybody else let a madman drive them over a cliff. But you know what? We already know what the answer is going to be. Woo! I hope some of them have parachutes in that clown car. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think of this, and let me know what you think in the comments. Bye.